What is that?
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Sidharth Kumar from ReviewMagic. If you don't know me yet, we do reviews of Hollywood, Bollywood, movie shows, serials around the world, and this is the place where I give my unbiased opinions on these films. So, welcome to my channel. If you have not yet subscribed, you can click the bell icon below. But let's get straight into why we're here today, and we are going to be reviewing the movie The Deep House. So this is the movie that has come out in 2021. It's available on Prime, and it is a horror movie to start with. The plot of the movie is these are two YouTubers. They're adventurous. The guy is usually the one who is leading, going to places like abandoned houses, ruins in the middle of nowhere. And what he's doing is he's having all this experience captured in his camera. And the purpose is that you put this on YouTube or social media, and then things go viral. You get many views, you make money, and then you become a star. So his philosophy is like going to these places, get his experience, and trying to build his persona in today's YouTube fraternity. So very simple story, but eventually what happens is that they end up in a lake in somewhere France. So this guy and his girlfriend are now going underwater, and there is a house that is submerged. This is a very old house. There was a flood that came many years ago, and this is all the journey on how they get into the house, which is deeply submerged underwater. It's spooky, it's scary, and then getting out of it and walking through their experiences. But eventually that doesn't happen. The guy gets killed and the girl escapes, but it's not easy for her as well because she doesn't make it to the top of the surface. So this is the story of The Deep House. These two navigators who go and they are capturing their experiences, and will it work, will it not work, how does this unfold, especially under the water, and they don't escape. So today I'll be giving my review on the story. So before we get into that, the movie has been directed by Alexandre Bustillo and Julien. Maury. They are also the writers of the film. And in the acting department, you will find Camille Rowe. This is Tina. James Jagger in the main lead. Ben in the movie, he's from the UK. The girl is from France. And Eric Serrin, who goes by Pierre, is a Frenchman here. So it's not too many people in this story. So why did I start to watch this movie? I was shifting to different genres on Prime, and one of the things that I like is horror movies. It has that thrill aspect to it, and I wanted to just unwind, see something, and it really is, guys. This movie, The Deep House, when you see the poster of the movie, it gives you that wow, what is this all about? Deep house, submerged here, because this is something that we haven't I haven't really seen or heard about in a while. That was something that caught my interest, and I said, all right, I'm gonna give it a try and see how this goes. So here we are. Now let's talk about the overall direction of the movie. So as I was telling you that The Deep House is definitely out of the blue, out of the world, I should say, story, because it's a very interesting and unique story. When you are looking at horror movies, it's generally someone went to a cabin in the woods, something happening in the city, something happening in a church. But this is a horror thrill movie about something that's happening under the surface of water in a house that's submerged. So I have to give credit to the director Alexandre Bustillo and Julien. Like, they thought of this story to show to their audience as to how they would make this navigational experience not above the surface but to a next level, which is more challenging, and it's going to be under the surface of earth, or in water, I should say. So it's not a boring story. It really keeps your adrenaline high and high, because initially when Tina and Ben they are going through ruins, that's spooky too. You hear different noises, especially when you go to an abandoned house in the middle of nowhere. You're going to hear different stuff. You could walk into people who are living there, and it's dangerous, it's scary, it's risky to your life. But these guys are adventurous. So they decide that, all right, so we want to now go to a lake, and that's where we're going to do our her next shooting, and that doesn't happen. In the initial scene, you'll see Tina, she's been practicing, underwater breath for close to a minute and 30 seconds. She just, wakes up, and then these two guys, they head to this lake that I'm talking about to do something adventurous. But as they reach that place in this remote area in France, it's pretty spooky and scary too. You don't see anyone there, and somehow they can't find this location on their map. They end up in a lake where there are a lot of people there. And typically, for these YouTubers or social media adventurers, you want to go to a place where no one is there. And, because everyone's there, it's a tourist location, it's a bummer. And Tina has been practicing for the scuba diving. That's why I mentioned that, she was under the water practicing her breath, stopping her breath underwater for a minute and 30 seconds. So anyways, Tina and Ben, they meet Pierre, and Pierre tells them, I'm going to take you to a much more remote location. And that's where, there's a submerged house. He's also a kind of a spooky guy. Tina does not like him, but, they end up, wearing their gear and they dive and then they go to find this house. The reason the story is so interesting, guys, is because you don't really see these movies very often. And it's not easy to kind of have that vision set underwater, because underwater, if a house is submerged, a lot of things have to be planned. Different sections of the house, the rooms, the cellar, what kind of house would it look like? What bodies would emerge out of nowhere? Will it be scary? How do you add that element of thrill at every step? Because this movie is at every step of the moment, your heart rate is pretty high. And I can tell you that because I'm wearing a Fitbit watch here. On a normal day, it's in the 70s, but when this movie started, I could see my heart rate going up to 85 and even 95. It was scary, guys. So I think underwater filming was brilliant. You could see that Tina and Ben, they eventually make it down. There's a stairs that goes down, but the way they have shown this whole thing, and you're going through a deep 30 meters under the surface of water. There's a lot of pressure building. You have to wear the right gear. There's a lot of fishes, big, small. There was no shark there, but they eventually reach the house, and the house says, trespassers won't be allowed. But of course, they just want to go into it, and they want to give it a try. I mean, Tina has her guard up. She doesn't want to go in, but they decide to go in. When they open one of the attic, there's a big fish that comes out, and that's right, the first instant. It's scary. So they get into the house and they're navigating it. It's spooky, as I said. There are a lot of fishes there. They're going from cellar to kitchen. They eventually make it to a section where they find two people who are just dead, and they are chained, and it starts to unravel a lot of things that are happening in the house. Tina and Ben, they start understanding what really must have happened, who was the owner of the family, and why these two people who are dead, man and a female, are chained, and it's looking very scary. They also have underwater drone, which is pretty high tech. Ben is a technology guy, so he builds this drone, and it's going from place to place. Wherever they can't go, they first send the drone. He's a smart guy, and then that drone gives all the signals, the feedback, and then they know there was some noise, there was no noise. So it kind of starts to unravel slowly. There's a scene when Ben is talking to Tina, and Tina can see a shadowy figure of someone dead just appears there, and oh my god, that is so scary. And Ben does not believe that this is happening, but there are times during the course of the movie that he starts to believe there are some spooky noises are happening, and maybe they should just cut it off and go back onto the land. But that doesn't happen, guys, because as far as Alexandre and Julien are concerned, the directors, they made it in a way that Tina and Ben, they still want to explore more sections of the house, and they do it. Every room is fantastic. I mean, it looks like it was built in a way that it's untouched and it's now submerged in the water. It's right there. They go to the main room. They go to they start from the attic and they go all the way down. And at one point, now when they say that, okay, we're done, we want to head back, so they go back up in the attic. But guess what? There is now stones. The entry is now covered with brick wall stone. They're trapped, and this is where they realize that it's a haunted house, and something is messed up. As a matter of fact, Ben discovers that Pierre, the guy who told them to go, is part of the family, and he wants people to get killed in there. So it starts to become very uneasy for both of them to just now figure out what is it that they have to do and get out. So they're trying different ways. They're figuring out what's going on. A fish comes back into the fish that had eventually left the house, comes back into the house. So they know that there must be a way inside. So they try to go, and it's unfortunately it's through the cellar. When they go through the cellar, the oxygen level is dropping and Tina is getting hallucinated. She's getting different feelings. Then she's starting to see all these people. And those two people that I'm talking about, they get unchained and they start to follow them. There is a scene in the movie where when Tina and Ben get separated because they're trying to go through the chimney breaks apart. So I don't know how Ben ends up in a room. And this lady is walking in the room and Ben actually hides under the bed. You may have seen it in a regular horror show, but guys, this is happening in underwater. So this is fantastic. This is really something that you really want to pay attention to. You can see a body that has been submerged in the water, the condition of the body, the makeup, everything just wears out after a while. And this person is walking through and it's scary looking. That is just phenomenal, the way it has been done. And Ben is scary as hell, but eventually the woman catches hold of Ben. She hypnotizes him and he can't think clearly. So that's one scene that I really like. The other thing is in the end, when Ben gets hallucinated and he is telling Tina that, hey, let's just die here, we are together. They end up going in a theater scene. So there is a theater in the house and you can see the cushions, the sofa is there. Something tears from the theater, wherever the cloth is there, and then this woman comes out from there and she kills Ben. And then what Tina does is that she escapes from that movie theater, wherever you see that film, that cloth, she eventually escapes. These guys try to hold her, Ben gets killed, but Tina eventually gets out. But when she goes up to the surface, it's too far above. Even though she had that training done, she doesn't make it up to the top and she dies, guys. All her gear is gone. I think the initial scene where Tina was practicing underwater in her tub and the end scene where she is not able to make the surface, they don't actually reconcile, in my opinion, because that's what people like to see. But guess what, guys? This is why this movie is different, because it doesn't become predictable. You feel that, all right, one guy is dead, he's gone, the boyfriend is dead, but the girl can make it to the surface. All right, happy ending. But that doesn't happen. Both of them are dead. So I think that's why Alexandre and Julien kept this movie unpredictable. They thought that they want to make something different, and that's what this movie delivers. So all in all, I felt the concept of this movie was great, and the direction, the way the movie flows, there is no moment where you feel that this is boring. You have to be very engrossed into it. Your heart rate keeps going up. As far as the art direction is concerned, guys, just to build that house, that set is awesome. The entire team who did this, I think they deserve a lot of compliments. It's not easy to build that house there, have it submerged, and then have a setting where all this is being played. So I felt that was great. In terms of the acting department, there's nothing really special between Ben and Tina. It's just a ordinary looking people who did a decent job of acting, but ultimately it is all about the flow of the movie, because you're not talking much. Your acting is not, it's at the backside. It's more about your actions, what you really want to be doing at that moment. And I think the directors have done a great job in getting that out of the actors, but it's their movie more per se than the actors' movie, in my opinion. So I was really surprised that the movie had a rating of 5.4 out of 10. In spite of that, I went ahead and watched the movie, but this definitely deserves a 7 out of 10 in my opinion. I think some things could be improved, the acting or here and there, but it looks to me like it should be given the credit it deserves, especially it's come out of nowhere, this movie. So alright guys, so that would be my feedback to you. If you are interested in watching a horror thriller movie on a weekend, you can watch it. You can watch it with your partner. Kids, they might be frightened, but I think this is one-time watch, and was a good refresher for me, for someone who had been watching a lot of drama movies over the surface. This one came as a new one. So I give this movie 7 out of 10, and I hope that you will enjoy too. So that's all from my side, guys. This is Sidharth Kumar signing off. If you want to give any comments, you can write it down, or you can subscribe to the channel. We'll be sending you more updates. Until then, take care, guys. Bye-bye.